It wasn't until I saw the wine bottle that cost more than my entire yearly income that I realized something was wrong. My girlfriend Lily, who I thought was broke like me and worked a typical office job, was casually opening a bottle of something incredibly expensive. It turned out she was from a wealthy family and had been living a secret life of luxury all along. I overheard her best friend ask her, "Aren't you tired of pretending to be poor for the last 5 years? When are you going to stop?" Lily just looked up and replied calmly, "Maybe on the day of my engagement." I didn't get upset. Instead, I quietly booked a flight for the day of her supposed engagement and left the country. Later, I heard that on her engagement day, Lily had a change of heart. She drove to our old apartment, but it was empty. She was distraught. While scrolling through my social media feed, a photo caught my eye. In the foreground were a bunch of people in fancy clothes, but in the back, a young woman was slouched on a couch, looking at her phone. Her hand was covering part of her face, but I could make out her jawline and deep-set eyes. They were unmistakable. I compared the photo to some I had of Lily, and then messaged my college friend Mike, who had posted it. "Hey, is this your friend?" I asked, highlighting the woman in the picture. The part of the photo with her was a little blurry, almost as if it had been done on purpose. Mike responded quickly, which was surprising. "Why are you interested? It's none of your business." I replied, "No reason. She just looks a lot like my girlfriend. Too much like her, actually." I knew Lily's features well, even her frown lines. Mike then started sending me a bunch of messages. "Dave, are you daydreaming? My wife wouldn't even talk to her. Your little girlfriend with her small salary couldn't even touch her. What, did you just realize the truth and now you want to dump your girlfriend?" I just sent him a thank you gift to cut him off. "Just wondering," I typed. Nothing else. Mike had always been competitive, ever since he lost some popularity contest to me in our freshman year. After that, he married a company heiress while I was busy dating Lily, the supposed poor girl. He then made his social media public, almost as if it were a favor to me, so I could see his posts. I texted Lily, "Are you coming home soon?" She replied almost immediately. She sent a picture of an office conference table with a crying cat emoji. "Still working overtime," she wrote. "Go to bed early and don't wait up." "You're working so hard. Love you," I texted back with a hug and kiss emoji, then put my phone away. This was the real Lily, I thought. She worked hard, just like everyone else. How could she possibly be connected to Mike's wealthy circle? Later that night, I got a request to deliver some documents to the Queen's Club. I called a ride through the company app, as I usually did. Life after work wasn't really your own. Most of it was taken up by stressful jobs. I got out of the car into the cold night and looked around. I had heard of the Queen's Club. Everyone who went there was important. I figured my boss got in just by knowing the right people. I pushed open the big red doors, and a well-dressed attendant greeted me. After I told him why I was there, he politely led me inside. As expected, I handed over the documents, put on a fake smile, and made small talk. The delivery didn't really require me to be there, but good-looking people were often needed at these events. "John, this is Dave from our tech department," my boss said. "He's the guy for all your questions." When John lightly touched my hand, I lowered my glass and moved away discreetly. Sometimes you can't outright reject people, even if it feels uncomfortable. After a few drinks, I excused myself to get some fresh air. As I walked around a corner, I saw a door that was slightly open. The brass handle caught my eye, glimmering in the light. I was about to walk by when a voice from inside the room stopped me. "Isn't it funny how Dave thinks Lily has no money? That's why she won't marry him?" I heard them say that I had taken out all my savings, over $195,000, to buy a house, thinking it would be our home. $1 million? That's barely enough for a bathroom," another person laughed. I stood frozen. then moved closer to the door to listen. "Are you still wearing those cheap clothes? We've all been traveling and you're still pretending to be poor?" I thought about Lily, who was wearing a cheap outfit with online store pants and sneakers I had bought for her just the other day. I glanced down at my own clothes, which were all under $2,000. Maybe I misheard. I held my phone tightly, wanting to call someone. Then I saw a figure lean in and casually open a bottle of wine. The movement revealed her full profile and what she was wearing. I instinctively clenched my fists, my knuckles turning white. My eyes were fixed on the scene, but I couldn't say a word. Lily looked at the woman who was speaking. "I have my own way of doing things. Don't get in my way." The woman scoffed. "You're so funny. Who could lead someone on for 5 years? Didn't you say at the beginning that it was just a game? Have you really fallen for that broke guy?" Lily's hand, holding a cigarette, paused for a moment before she chuckled. "What are you talking about? Even if you cared about him, could you actually marry him?" "I'm telling you, just end it now," the woman continued. "Don't hold him back. Let him find someone good to marry." Lily lazily blew out some smoke and looked at her. "Grace, you talk too much." Grace smirked. "You don't say much, but if you ever stick up for that broke guy again, I swear I'll slap some sense into you." Grace then asked, "When are you going to tell him?" Lily hesitated. "On the engagement day, I guess." "Is he really the one?" Grace asked. "Yes." "How do you plan to say it? What you're doing isn't right." "I'm not going to say anything. I'll just disappear." "Fair enough," Grace replied. "He never would have gotten involved with people from our circle without a little push anyway. Give him some money when you leave. It's been 5 years. Don't leave him with nothing." Their words sounded like they were from a different world. They crashed into my mind, cold and indifferent. I looked at Lily, hoping she would say something different. "He's different, Dave. He's not like that. He's your boyfriend of 5 years. But she didn't argue back. She didn't say a word. Standing not far from the door, a chill ran through my body as the cold wind swept over me. I wanted to see her face clearly through the smoke. Outside, the bare hawthorn trees were heavy with snow, their branches unable to spring back up. I pulled the house contract from my bag. Tears started to fall, hitting the paper. I wiped them away quickly, afraid to ruin it. I had always thought Lily didn't bring up marriage because we didn't have much money, or because she was worried about what my parents would think. The other day, when my dad called, she heard every word. Her parents passed away. Her education is worse than yours. Her salary is low. She has no house or car. What do you see in her? Just her face. With your situation, you could have anyone. Come home. I'll introduce you to plenty of girls, each one better than her." I held the phone. "Dad, she's getting a raise next month after this project. She's ambitious and treats me well. I love her. As for the house, we've saved enough for the down payment. Our combined savings will cover the mortgage, so things are getting better." After I hung up, I pulled out all my bank cards, spread them on the bed, and looked up at her. "Let's get married. I have money. Worst case, I'll take care of you." For a moment, Lily looked stunned. Something flashed in her eyes that I couldn't understand, but she only said, "Let's wait." Back then, I thought she wanted me to wait for her to get to a better place, so we could have a nice wedding. But I couldn't understand the look she gave me. Now I know she was probably laughing inside, laughing at my naive belief, my passionate devotion, all for nothing. In the past few days, I had been planning a surprise for her that she would never forget. But I never expected that while I was dreaming of a cozy future with her, she was already planning to escape this game. It was truly a joke. I cried until I couldn't anymore. I had to use all my strength not to push that door open. I backed away step by step, the truth weighing so heavily on me I could barely breathe. I lowered my head and dialed her number. Lily looked up and gestured for everyone to be quiet. I kept my voice steady. "Are you still at work?" Lily's lazy voice came through the phone. "I am. It'll be another hour or two. Why aren't you sleeping?" I wiped away my tears. "I fell. I'm at the hospital." Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Lily sit up slightly. "Which hospital?" she asked, signaling for someone to hand her a coat. Lily hung up, put out her cigarette, and her friend asked, "Where are you going? You just got here." "My boyfriend's in the hospital. I have to go." "What makes him your boyfriend?" Grace asked. Before she finished the sentence, Lily leaned against the doorframe and looked back at her. Her look was as cold as the night, silencing her friend. I didn't go to the hospital. Instead, I took a taxi home. The apartment Lily and I rented was a small one-bedroom. Near the entrance, there was a shelf with books. Those were from when I had pushed Lily to study for her bachelor's degree through adult education. My dad was right. Her education wasn't great. When I met her, she only had an associate's degree. We were young back then, and she seemed smart. She had her whole life ahead of her. She couldn't just stay at that level. Even if you're going to herd pigs, a bachelor's degree will earn you $500 more than an associate degree. I had to work and stay up late to help her study. I even played English lessons while we brushed our teeth together in the morning to make the most of every second. Every time Lily did a problem, I had to review it with her. We were short on time, but we got it done in a month and a half. To celebrate, we had to look for a coupon on every app just to treat ourselves to Hot Pot. And now, looking at the information Mike had found, it all felt ridiculous. Lily. I couldn't say her real name. I leaned on the couch, pressing my palms against my forehead, feeling a gnawing pain in my stomach. The door opened, and Lily came in, breathless and empty-handed, having not found me at the hospital. My phone buzzed with several missed calls from her. She leaned against the doorframe, catching her breath. I watched silently as she came over, lifting her hands to hold my face. Her tense expression relaxed. "Where did you fall?" I knew she was playing me, but I didn't care. She just played with my fingers and smiled. "Let me put some cream on you, or the wound might heal too soon." In that moment, maybe I was just silently strong. She couldn't see the pain I was in. I watched her closely. She seemed so calm, as if she had never lost her composure over a difficult problem. I thought maybe her hard upbringing had made her that way, that she wouldn't even flinch if the sky fell. But I never considered that this calm attitude was a result of extreme power and privilege. I pulled my hand away and looked forward. "Lily, my dad is pressuring me to go home for a blind date." The words hung in the air. Lily's hand froze, and her smile didn't fade, but turned into a cold mask. But then I turned back to her, smiling through tears, with my usual loving expression. "I told him I'm only willing to marry you. I'm waiting for you to marry me." I kept looking at her. "We bought a small house. Once we get married, we can move in. Maybe we'll have a baby. Your parents will love it for sure. Boy or girl, it doesn't matter. If it's a girl, she'll have your big eyes. If it's a boy, he'll have my fair skin." I looked down and pulled the contract from my bag. "See, I added your name when I bought the house." "Lily, how can you ever repay me for these 5 reckless, youthful, and loving years? Born at the top, every step you take is almost effortless, isn't it? Are you secretly mocking me for thinking that everything I've offered you is just a simple gesture for you?" Lily's fingers moved, and she looked down at the contract. It was a while before she looked up. "Dave, What?" I played it cool. "It's pretty surprising, huh? At least now my dad can't say anything about you." Lily's scared look disappeared. She went back to her usual self. "Yes, our Dave can really take care of me." Her voice was too soft, her tone too slight. I almost missed what she said. I never said I wouldn't marry you." "But Lily, in what capacity would you marry me?" I leaned against the table and dialed a number. While I waited, I quietly watched Lily busy in the kitchen. Her cooking was better than mine. When the call connected, I whispered, "I've decided. I can go to America. What about the time?" I was a little distracted until I saw Lily's gaze, and then I snapped back. January 28th. Yes, that day. That was the day Lily was supposed to get engaged. Late that night, the emotional pain became physical. I pressed on my cramping stomach, biting my hand until I nearly fainted from the pain. I vaguely felt a hand quickly lifting me up, and a voice that was usually steady now sounded flustered. In a daze, many past memories came to me. Lily and I didn't have an easy relationship. We had broken up once. It was in the second year of our relationship. She suggested splitting up out of the blue. I was busy planning a rare trip for us when I heard her say it. It seemed absurd. She looked at me with distant eyes, as if I were a stranger. "I can't give you what you want." Just a moment before, she had been blaming herself for my burnt hand. I couldn't figure out what could be holding us back besides her lack of money. "It's okay. We'll work it out together. We're so young. If we just work hard, we can have what we want. And I don't need you to have a lot of money." She cut me off, lightly patting my head as if we would never see each other again. "Dave, I'm sorry. I hope you find someone better." Back then, who wasn't hot-headed, thinking no one was irreplaceable? I didn't hold on, didn't cry. I just acted calm and proud. "Lily, in the end, you're just afraid you don't love me enough. If that's the case, let's part on good terms." If she had loved me so much, how could she have left me without trying? I thought I was strong and sensible because I usually weighed the pros and cons, and would abandon anything that wasn't beneficial. But with Lily, all that failed. After we broke up, we lost touch, and I assumed we'd never see each other again. But fate had other plans. It was at an event I would never normally attend, and there was Lily in a waiter's uniform. I stared at her, and she shuffled her tray. "I'm a server. What a coincidence." I nodded, didn't speak, and walked past her. But I had an unshakable feeling that missing this chance might mean never loving again. For the first time, I gave everything, going against logic for love. Suddenly, I stopped, pushed through the crowd, and ran back to her. Lily was still leaning against the pillar, watching me. I spoke firmly. "Lily, I'll only ask once. Do you want to get back together? If you refuse, our paths end here." I would kneel before love just this once, no more next times. Lily stayed silent, then picked up a wine glass and lightly touched my forehead. "You're such a fool." Indeed, I was a fool for not seeing the hidden meaning in her "I can't give you," and for not seeing through her flimsy disguise. I woke up in a hospital at dawn. Birds were already singing. Lily's skin was pale, and under the white walls her dark hair seemed even paler. But tonight she looked exhausted. "He's fine. Why did he suddenly hurt so much?" She gently rubbed my stomach when she saw I was awake. There was a thermos on the nightstand that I'd never seen before. Thinking back, there were always new things popping up at home that I didn't recognize. She looked at where I was looking and explained, "I ordered congee for delivery. If you're feeling better, do you want some?" I looked away and moved my fingers slightly. Did you know the stomach is an emotional organ? Maybe my emotions are what's sick. She chuckled. "Who bullied you? Tell me, I'll give them hell for it." It was a typical response. She used to say things like that all the time without even thinking. I never took it seriously. What was she going to do? A young woman with not much to her name. How could she get revenge for me? We couldn't afford any rash actions that could lead to damages or medical bills. I preferred to keep the peace whenever possible. Except for that one time. I faced workplace bullying head-on, risked getting fired to gather evidence, wrote an article, and filed a lawsuit. But then they turned the accusations back on me and crushed my efforts. I was so broken that a simple question from her had me pouring out my frustrations in tears. Amazingly, things turned around. The company started an internal investigation, then the police got involved, and the manager who bullied his subordinates was arrested. I resigned after that. Pulling the covers aside, I got out of bed and put on my shoes. She grabbed my wrist. "Where are you going?" "To work." I leaned on the bed and looked up, smiling. "I feel much better. I need to hurry back. I don't want to be late. A sick day costs $850, way too expensive." "Dave, don't be silly," she said, scolding me gently. "You should rest. You have work to do, too." I nudged her. "No calling in sick." Lily spoke to a doctor, and the doctor respectfully followed her. Many details I had missed before suddenly became clear, like the delicious smell of congee in front of me, the homemade wine a co-worker had given me, and the handmade pastries you never see in stores. On my way to work that morning, I saw Lily waiting by the road as I came out of the garage. She had said she didn't like driving, so we had bought this car. Aside from occasional weekend outings, we barely used it. A little later, a black Bentley pulled up in front of her, and a driver got out, politely opening the door for her. The car didn't head to Lily's company. I followed the Bentley into the inner city and went straight to a remote residential area. There was a no-entry sign at the entrance. All I could do was park by the side of the road and watch her car go in. Sitting in my car, I remembered helping her tirelessly with job applications. Every resume she submitted, from job objectives to work experience and personal advantages, I refined every word carefully. Back then, almost every resume would get past the company's screening. But no matter how often I predicted 80% of the interview questions or did countless interview practices, she would still mess up the interviews. In the end, only this one unremarkable company was willing to hire her. At least the pay wasn't high, but all the benefits were maxed out. Lily wasn't a big spender. Her salary went into my account, and I would set aside some pocket money for her. What once seemed like acts of love and support now revealed that she didn't really need them at all. I drove to my usual old ramen shop, and the owner greeted me warmly. "The usual? How come you're alone today?" I had loved this ramen shop since college, and after I met Lily, I would take her there almost every week. "She's busy," I replied, ordering the meat sauce noodles with extra green onions and cilantro. Midway through my meal, I asked casually, "Hey, wasn't this area supposed to be torn down a couple of years ago? How is the shop still open?" The owner glanced at me, wiping his sweat with the towel around his neck. "Honestly, it's a mystery to me too. Suddenly one day I was told to come back and reopen. Otherwise, with my worth now, I wouldn't need to keep this place running." I stayed silent, quietly finishing my noodles. That's why when the hallway lights flickered and the floorboards creaked, we could rent a nice place for a cheap price. When my grandma came to the city for surgery, the blood bank, which was critically low, was restocked overnight. She even ended up in a special care unit because of some emergency medical research. Back home, I dug out several expensive watches from the bottom of the wardrobe. At that moment, I had no doubt they were real. When Lily first gave me one, I thought she didn't know any better and just wanted me to have what others had. Back then, to not hurt her pride, I wore it boldly to work, showing it off to her. She seemed pleased and sent me a few more after that. At work, someone with a keen eye looked at my watch. "You can't find this watch. It would cost you close to $2 million with all the extras. Are you some kind of secret tycoon?" I laughed it off, waving my wrist. "Nah, it's a fake from China. Not worth much." After that, I casually hinted, "Even fakes aren't cheap. Don't waste your money. I don't need these." Lily glanced at me and smiled softly. "Keep them. They might come in handy someday. And they did. The money I had saved over 5 years wasn't enough to buy a house, but 2 or 3 of these watches were. I blinked, and the emotions that had been building inside me finally took shape. It was resentment. I realized how deep my resentment ran. Lily, if you were just deceiving and playing me, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But you mixed a hint of truth in all these lies. Who were you trying to trap? I would be filled with regret for the youth I charged through with courage. Realizing this, I knew I had to fulfill some unachieved dreams before it was too late. From the bedroom to the kitchen to the living room, I began clearing any sign of a life I had lived there for so long. But this rental held too many memories and tokens of love. When the sun set, the dim lights in the bedroom flickered, while a woman poured all her endless energy into loving you to death. It was those snow-filled nights, running home in laughter, pushing open the door with urgency, then kissing against it until we were out of breath. It's like splitting a watermelon in half, but fighting over one half with a spoon while ignoring the other. It's like sipping on a cocktail until you're dizzy. I held her face and kissed her gently until she was nestled in my arms. We both fell onto the couch, her laughter shaking from her chest. In that moment, I decided to leave the memories as just memories. The door unlocked, and I looked back to see a stranger named Lily standing at the entrance. Even though she looked at me the same way she had 1,000,000 times before, I knew it wasn't her. She walked over, crouched beside me, and looked at my suitcase. "Are you traveling for work?" I shook my head. "Just packing up some useless stuff, clearing space?" She was dressed even more shabbily than yesterday. Her jacket was under $300, pants just over $100, but her underwear was more expensive. I liked to choose quality when it came to clothes close to the skin. Maybe the biggest hardship in her 2 decades of luxury was the boredom of dating a poor guy. She had to lower her living standards and work hard to create a web of lies. In that sense, I didn't lose. My girlfriend, besides being a liar, was good-looking, in great shape, talented, and could handle both fancy and simple situations. "Lily, would you come with me tomorrow to try on some wedding dresses?" Her eyebrows and eyes had a silvery frost under the light, and even her frown didn't take away their charm. She smiled, looking a bit helpless. "Dave, I'm still here. About the marriage thing, isn't it a bit rushed for dresses? Just trying them on doesn't mean we have to get married. What are you afraid of?" Maybe it was the first time I had joked about not getting married, as if it didn't matter. Lily was stunned for a moment, then playfully coaxed. "Are you mad at me? I'm just thinking this path isn't finished yet. Who knows what the end will be? Maybe we're not right for each other. Maybe there'll be someone else in my future." She squeezed my fingers hard, chuckling angrily. "Shut up! I'll go with you. I'll go, okay?" I didn't happily hug her like I used to. I just bowed my head and continued packing. Mike asked me why I kept asking about her. He advised, "Even if you're going to cheat, shouldn't you find someone on your level? Why are you still interested in this one? She's been to Milan with her fiancé, checking out wedding dresses. Don't embarrass our school." That's when it hit Mo. When she said she was on a business trip, she was really with another guy, getting those dresses made. I made a last-minute appointment at the dress shop for the evening, and I stayed home all day long, sitting quietly in the living room until nightfall, when Lily came back from work. Marrying Lily had been my main goal all through my youth. I had imagined wearing a crisp suit, walking toward her with flowers, and just like now, in the middle of the crowd, I would look at her with teary eyes and ask, "Do I look handsome?" Lily didn't answer. She turned to look out the window. Harsh winters and tough lives, things she never cared to see. Standing in front of her was a boy who was only dressing up for her, but she suddenly didn't have the courage to look back. "Lily, take one last look at him. This is probably the last and only time. He won't belong to you anymore." The Miller family's engagement party was packed with guests and lively as ever. It was Mike's first time stepping into the so-called famous family, even though it wasn't some secret old mansion. The engagement party was held in a fancy banquet hall, luxurious and private. Following his wife, Mike finally saw the Miller heiress that Dave always asked about. The woman wore a beautiful handmade gown and jewels that made her seem a little cold. He couldn't even say hello, finding even an extra glance inappropriate. As he stepped outside for some air, he caught another glimpse of Lily through the crowd. She picked up her phone, frowning deeply. Mike, phone in hand, was listening to all the gossip. Suddenly, a name jumped out at him. He unbelievably pulled his wife, Anna. Did they say Dave? Is the guy Lily has been fooling with Dave the one from my school? Anna shrugged it off. Not sure, probably. As Mike remembered Dave's constant questions, it felt like everything fell into place. This world is full of coincidences. He had figured out the whole affair. So, does everyone in your circle know that she's been toying with a guy for 5 years? People have heard a thing or two, but no one cares, Anna said. It's just a fling. She'd return eventually. Then, by chance, Lily was walking quickly outside. Mike suddenly shouted at her angrily, "Stop right there, you jerk!" Anna was startled, rushing to pull him back. "What are you doing? You don't even like Dave. Why are you acting like a hero?" "I don't like him," Mike admitted, glancing at Lily. "But that doesn't mean I can't feel for him. 5 years. That's a man's most precious 5 years. Not 5 hours, not 5 days. It's 5 full years of youth. Do people with power need to stomp on something to make life interesting?" I always wondered why a guy like Dave, with his looks and talent, had no one after him after school. In college, lines of girls waited outside dorms for him. Rich women fought to treat him. Suddenly, after graduation, it's like he was cursed, keeping a poor girl as a partner. I guess you were the reason all along. Took him away first, huh? Anna tugged on his sleeve. "Mike, calm down. Our project is going to go south if you keep this up." Mike elbowed her. "I look down on you, Lily. You all make fun of Dave, but I'm making fun of you. You're a coward." Lily didn't get angry. She just looked at him calmly. "When did he find out?" The man in front of her didn't speak, and Lily didn't push it. She had just gotten a call from our landlord. "Isn't today the day you're moving out? I'm here to check, but no one's here?" She had more urgent matters to deal with. A few days ago, she had tried to talk to him before leaving on her business trip, but she just couldn't. "We'll talk when I get back." At that time, Dave had gently agreed. He was too sweet and quiet, keeping all his internal pain to himself. Lily walked out, but turned back to this man she had never met before. If I had been myself from the start, this story might have been just 5 seconds, not 5 years. Mike didn't understand, so he wrote it down on his phone to repeat later. The car sped towards the rental house, but suddenly changed lanes. Then it raced madly towards the airport. The flight was already boarding, and the flight attendant welcomed each passenger with a sweet voice. I had blocked Lily on every app and locked the past in that small room. Maybe she had realized it by now. Maybe she was busy with the guests and would only think about dealing with outside matters once the ceremony was over. Without any surprises, the plane took off as planned. As the wings merged into the clouds, the roar drowned out everything. Unwritten storylines and the eyes of worldly prejudices were lifted high and gently set down. Before the plane took off, Mike called angrily, "What are you running for? She's the one who tricked you. And you just turn off your phone and leave the country? You're not the one in the wrong here. If I were you, I wouldn't care about Lily. I'd crash her engagement party today and make sure no one has a good time. At the very least, make some noise. With her family background, a single snap of a finger could set your family up for 3 generations. It's all about money. Who cares about love? Are you crazy to pass up the money?" I had always thought he didn't like me. so I figured if he knew a woman had fooled me for 5 years, he would be happy. "Thanks, Mike." My voice was calm but firm. "Even though some bad things have happened, I don't want to deny those 5 years. Those were 5 years of me giving my all. I don't wish for it to end in a completely messed up way." Mike didn't say anything. He knew better than anyone that some things aren't worth fighting over because nothing will come of it. Everyone knows about it, but nobody cares. What's the point of making a scene? They've already made fun of it for so long. I won't give them more to laugh at. Even if everyone knows I got the short end of the stick, nobody will stand up for me. Nobody will fight for me. Besides, with families like that, a small commotion is amusing, but a big one that hurts their reputation? The consequences are too much for someone like me to handle. In my half year in America, I returned to the lab, doing what I did best. Kathy, the senior who invited me here, sometimes wondered why I wasted 5 years on other things when I could have gotten results sooner. I wrote down data, casually smiling. We all take a long way sometimes. As long as we turn back in time, it's not too late, right? I allow for a few rough patches in the long journey of my life, even if going through them leaves me hurt. But who's to say it won't create a whole new me? As long as I still have the courage, I'll boldly move forward with a long and bright path ahead. Time was so busy I barely had time to think of anyone. Until one day an international package arrived at my door. After 6 months, I received this nameless delivery. I tore it open. There were 2 fully paid real estate contracts with my name on them. One was for an apartment on a prime financial street, the other for the marital home we had only made a deposit on. The apartment I live in now is very quiet, especially at night. For the first couple of months here, I barely slept. I never pretended not to have hope. I shamelessly hoped that at some point she might just show up. On the streets of this foreign country, I wondered if one day I might turn around and see her. Sometimes in the quiet of the night, the sound of tires on the ground makes me instinctively pull back the curtain. But all I see is emptiness. Only then do I realize someone like her wouldn't lose her mind over anyone. 5 years of living a normal life was already a rare exception. Her life has given her too much. What she's lost is nothing. To casually pick something up and lazily let it go, that's the right way for her. Locking both contracts in the cabinet untouched, I still don't contact her. I knew from the start that my time in America wouldn't be long, but I didn't expect it to be so brief. Kathy kept saying, "It's time. Now's the best moment. Someone is contacting us from back home, and most importantly, the entry permit has been approved. Who knows how long it'll take next time?" I nodded. Let's head back then. Kathy's company was registered and located in Shanghai, and we landed. With a product foundation and a significant influx of funds, the company's progress was swift. The faster the pace, the more people we needed. I was almost too busy to even notice, needing to oversee hiring beyond just technical matters. Kathy then told me that the investor wanted to meet. "She's requested to see you. It's strange." I should have known. The investor Kathy had talked about so often 6 months ago, with an incredibly good temperament and character, who didn't question a single thing about the company. I played with the pen cap, hesitating. "Can I not go?" Kathy gritted her teeth. "If it were someone else, I might protect you, but with her, no way." I never imagined how or where I would see Lily again. Like her friend said, if not for deliberate opportunities, she and I would always be on opposite ends of a revolving door, never crossing paths. "Dave, this is Lily. Lily, this is Dave, the guy in charge of tech at the company. Ever since he joined a year ago, our progress has been incredibly fast." Lily looked nothing like she used to. It was like the perfectly tailored suit she was wearing had separated her from the past. She was still calm and easygoing, but there was a new distance that made her hard to approach. Her gaze was still as intense and direct as I remembered. I reached out my hand with a polite smile. "Nice to meet you, Lily. I'm Dave." Lily kept her hands in her pockets and didn't say a word, just looked at me with those sharp eyes. She was honest about it. Talking with him is a hassle. Kathy started to say something, but quietly left the room. As she opened the door, she met two pairs of eyes. Grace gestured for her to leave. The other person curiously asked, "What's going on?" Grace kept it brief. "Lily has been restricted from leaving the country. They found a way to bring her back." "Is it serious?" "Nah, with Lily's mom involved, it's going to be tough for this guy. She used to not care about him, but now she's laid down the law. It doesn't matter if she doesn't marry, but he can't be just anyone." Lily extended a hand to me without hesitation, as if I had just been away on a casual trip. "Did you cool off?" she asked. "Can we get back together?" I frowned, staring at her without moving. "This was my fault. I apologize," she said, gripping my fingers out of habit. I looked down, noticing her 10 fingers. At first I had so many questions, like why me, and why for 5 years. But later I realized asking wouldn't change anything. "Lily, I think we've been over for a while. I've already let you go. There's no need to pretend anymore, or figure out how to disappear without any loose ends. I no longer know where the line is between your facade and your true self." "I never agreed to your decision," she responded. "You don't need my agreement, just like when you barged into my life in the first place. Time heals, but it takes a long time. At least the sleepless nights over the past year weren't enough to make the pain go away. Please don't look for me again." I took a step back. This is as dignified as it'll get. "And if I insist?" she pushed, closing the distance between us. I had never considered this possibility, so I scrambled to think of a way out. But then she chuckled silently, putting a hand over my darting eyes. "Don't worry, I won't do that to you. But Dave, you still owe me one wish, if you're willing," she said softly. I just nodded. We both knew she couldn't quite bring herself to end things completely. We should have seen it coming, dragging it out while looking for a way to break free. For a long time I didn't see Lily, but the matter of that wish lingered like an invisible thread between us, waiting to be fulfilled. In the meantime, I met up with Mike. To my surprise, he was divorced. "Surprised?" he asked, sitting across from me with a calm expression. I never doubted she loved me, but that didn't stop her from loving someone else, too. Everyone advised me to ignore it, saying what matters most is holding on to power. "Those are just distractions," they'd say. "Every woman in this circle has someone on the side." But I'm not Mike. I can't ignore it. I can't take the sand in my eye. He said he took half the assets and lived life on his own terms afterward. But how can a person who never knew love be bothered by a little dirt in their eyes? Time passed until autumn colors filled the world. I got a message from Lily, and it made me think back to her birthdays. She would seldom make a wish. She would push the cake to me, telling me to wish for something. I would shout something like, "May Lily and Dave be together forever and never part." She never wanted anything. There was nothing in this world she needed to wish for. I couldn't guess what she wanted from me. That was until I returned to the apartment. Everything was the same, even the angle of the sunlight. Dishes were on the table, with the sounds of pots and pans from the kitchen. Instinctively, I went over, leaning on the door frame, watching her in the kitchen. She spoke without turning. "Almost done. Just one more dish." Just like she always did. Lily's cooking isn't exactly gourmet, but at least it's edible compared to mine. Dish by dish, I ate. She didn't eat, just watched me. It felt like any other day that used to be so ordinary, now with an apocalyptic feeling because of our separation. "Have you always known how to cook?" I asked. "No," she shook her head. "Billy, my childhood caretaker, taught me. He thought I was sick when I told him I wanted to learn. Honestly, your cooking isn't very tasty. But you always seemed to enjoy it. As the room got darker, neither of us turned on the lights. We sat in the corner of the carpet. I should go, I said. Dave, all these years I wasn't completely insincere. I knelt down, tracing her eyebrows with my finger. So, are we getting married? No, she admitted, leaving us with silence instead of promises. But if I had asked Lily, she would have loudly said yes. I smiled at her, tears rolling down my face. She loved me so much, she would have wanted to marry and grow old together. You know better than anyone, the ending is set in stone. It's just the journey that's different. Sometimes I wish there really was a Lily in this world. She would hold me tight, a hug so fierce it felt like we were merging our souls together. One wrong step after another. Some people were never meant to meet, to know, or to fall in love. But you had to break the barriers, push yourself to exhaustion until you ended up battered and bruised. She let go of me, gave my head a gentle pat. You keep the things I gave you. That way in the future, if your girlfriend doesn't have much, she won't have to suffer. But she shouldn't rely on your money, be lazy, or lack ambition. Before you get together, at least find out about her family. Ask about her income. If you can't find out, let me know. Don't just dive in head first without asking anything. I will. I knew she was watching me, but I didn't look back. I just kept moving forward. The phone rang, and I picked it up. I used to try to get you guys to break up, but you wouldn't. You really cared about her. Now you break up just like that? Did she hurt you? No, she didn't. We just weren't right for each other anymore. Is it about money? I've thought about it. No money is no big deal. You think I complain about this because of money? I just didn't want you to struggle with her. Dad, after we broke up, we haven't been in touch much. I can't find her. How could that be? Why not? Some people are just passing through, but they leave a heavy mark, and that becomes an unforgettable chapter in your life. Lily's not the kind to hold on. Some people you can't hold on to. Let them go with grace. However, losing someone is a process that slowly pierces your thoughts over time. Even though she didn't let those emotions get the best of her. Just that day, Billy suddenly asked her enthusiastically, "Does your guy still like red date pastry? The dates fell from the tree today. I picked some. They'll be fresh." She stopped in her tracks. The regret of losing him washed over her like a tide, her heart slowly bleeding with tiny pricks of pain. No more, Billy. There's no guy who loves red date pastry anymore.